Good morning. This is, where's my phone? This is November 24th, Saturday, 8:30, 8:39 a.m. in Chicago. Hi, my friends. I'm at Levy House. Let's see. I apply my makeup just for you. And sometimes you'll see me swiping just so I could sort of even it out. Sometimes I'm looking like, I don't know. I try to look civil for you, try to hope that you are the only people I'm doing this for because I usually walk around in my house without, I really am not a company person. I'm really not show up at somebody's house and hang out. When I was in my 30s, I mean, I just hung out with my friends. Remember, if you're my age and born and a baby boomer, remember how we used to just hang out. We didn't even have any purpose for hanging out at your friend's house. You just spontaneously drop by and just hang out, maybe get a little high, smoke a little bit, drink some wine, talk about what the world or whatever. I'm a child of the 60s, or the 50s, and we found out about conspiracies back then. Before then, we were so innocent. We didn't know that the world was different. Uh, so now it is 2018, and we are 18 years into the new millennium. We're in the new century, the 21st century. I'm going to put a question to you that was put to me maybe about 3 days ago. And some of you know me from the 1960s. My people from my high school reunion, John Marshall High School, from 1964 to 1968. Some of you even knew me in grammar school. So I'm talking about 1960 and 61 and 62. Uh, so some of you have known me a long time, and some have forgotten me, and some faces I've forgotten. And long story short, uh, I'm going to ask you this question. A millennial asked me this question. He's 30 years old. I think he's one of the wisest young men that ever lived, and I've met some people. He's a thinker. He doesn't just watch TV. He just doesn't talk stuff. Sometimes I go, man, like he said, yeah, I spent all my money. And I go, you what? He said, I spent it. I said, you spent what do you mean? I spent my money. Why don't you say I spent my money? Why you gotta say spent? He said, I could say that because I know what the real word is. And sometimes he said he went to the bank or something and they took in his money out. I said, took in your money out? You took in your money out? You took your money out. I know that's what I did. I said, why don't you use that word, please? Why don't you use the proper stuff? And he does what he wants to do. He seems very casual, but trust me, this is a young man who is paying attention to what's going on in the world, and he alerts me. He makes me feel like I don't have a clue. I mean, I think I should call this the education of Miss Venice, because did you see this? Did you see that? Miss V, did you see that? Did you see this documentary? Miss V, did you see this stuff on whatever? And I'm like, no, Isaiah, I didn't. Okay. I don't want to watch that stuff. Like he'll show me what was that movie about how hip hop started and Grandmaster Flash. I don't want to know stuff like that. And then I got hooked into that series, and I'm waiting to see if they have a season two. It's really, really good about how hip hop music started and the culture and what stemmed it. and stuff we don't know about, how hip hop came, how oh my God. And so sometimes when he's saying stuff, I get kind of upset because I don't want to see it. He said, Miss Venice, have you watched Ink? Why do I want to watch tattoos? I'm never getting one. I don't want no tattoo on my face, my hands, my whatever. So a lot of times when he tells me stuff like that, I go, please leave me alone. But I thank God that sometimes I listen to him. And when I do, I I get a piece of knowledge that I didn't have. I get a piece of something I didn't know. I just found out today which Sundance Kid was black. Remember that movie, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid, and blah, blah, blah. Look, that's the reason why one of my posts says, learn to unlearn what you think is true. Because this world has the powers that be have lied and lied to us so much so that many of us, especially African Americans, Native American, Indians, Hispanics, have been taught to hate themselves. When they're depicted, Hispanics have been depicted in on television. I remember, hello, my name is Jose Jimenez. And then the other one is that it's not my job. Like Spanish people were lazy, and in fact, they've been hired to virtually run this country. I went to an what do you call it? Not an Indian restaurant, but a restaurant, a Jerusalem restaurant. Actually, it was a Jewish restaurant run. The kitchen, total kitchen, was run by Hispanics. There was not one Hebrew person in that kitchen. And then what was the other? I went to the Mexican restaurant. Okay, I didn't see any Chinese people working there. I'm kidding. But Chinese restaurants. Who's cooking? Spanish people, Latin people. Come on. How can we say they can't come in when, in fact, if they stop coming in, ain't nobody gonna get nowhere? But anyway, the question, as we learn the truth of what we think we know, like the 9 planets, how many are there now? I mean, dang, there's so much we don't know that we need to learn about. It's just astounding. So I wanted to share this question that he asked me about 3 days ago, and it just triggered something in my head, and it made me rethink about my life as it is now. As you know, I made 69 years old on Veterans Day of this year. 69, born in 1949. So he asked me this question. He said, Miss V, you're always talking about stuff you used to do. And, I see the pictures and stuff like that. He said, tell me something. If you were 30 now, age 30 now, like I'm 30, and you were born in 1988 and you were 30. No, you weren't born. What was it? Yeah, born in 80 or whatever. Wait a minute, I screwed up the number. But anyway, he said if you were 30 now and it's 1988 and you know the mind you have now, the thoughts you have now, who would you be with modern technology, all of the things that are now that we know, the internet, global, all this stuff. If you were 30 right now, like me, what would you be doing? And I just hopped right up. I'd be doing whatever. He said, well, you answered that too fast. I was like, what do you mean I answered it too fast? He said, you just like that. You just answered that too fast. I thought about it. I was like, no, I didn't, because when I was 30, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. When I was 18, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. When I was 13, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a writer. When I was 14, I wanted to be a writer. I read James Baldwin. I was the only one in my high school library in 1964. It was taken out. What James Bond was 65, 66. I don't even know what year it came out. But I was the only one reading Another Country, and then I read all of Baldwin's books, every one that came out. But I was so like cross into reading that I was reading Rosmundy Jordan and Beverly Cleary. I love children's book and little romantic books, and like, oh, Jordy loves Colin and all that other kind of stuff. And I still love romance novels. Still into them. But if you were 30 like me and you have the mind and the knowledge that you had then, you have it now, but you have the technology, what we have, what would you be? What would you be doing? And so anyway, I've been living with that the longest time. And the thing is the reason why I started this blog, this channel, was to investigate uh, affordable housing. I wasn't even into, like changing my life or nothing. All I wanted to do was try to save our building. All I wanted to do was, be organized so we wouldn't get sold down the river. That's all I was interested in. But what happened is modern technology helped me become a fighter. And I started with not only the meetings, when I went to the meetings and hearing what people said, it occurred to me, why don't we, instead of just talk about old people versus, getting kicked out and not being able to afford to live on fixed incomes, why don't we just take a couple of videos and just let people meet who we are? That was it. But ever since then, the reactions of people have made a difference because your reactions made a difference. It wasn't a billion. I mean, we didn't put it up for likes. We didn't put it up for anything like that. It was very private Facebook page. We put it on Jane Addams Senior Caucus. We put it on, our little page, and thank God for those people. I think they're really wonderful fighters, and so it introduced me to a world of people I thought I might know, but I didn't know. I thought I knew millennials. I thought the fight was over. I mean, when you're in the 60s and if you get involved in all that marching and you got involved in protests and stuff, you're tired. You're tired. We were tired. That's why when the 70s, when disco came, baby, all we wanted to do was party because we were so political in the 60s. We were just like, we just took a side. And then disco came in, and then it was a culture of getting high. It was a culture of screwing everybody and everything. And so I said to him, I would be writing. I'd have a global theater. I would be international, writing books, and I'd be writing plays, and I'd be doing films. And I said, I'd probably be a hoe. And he was like, oh, Miss V. I said, I probably would have been a hoe with the relaxing of morality in America, where a woman could have without ruining her reputation. She could have 5 babies without getting married and having a reputation. My mother may have been happy. I could have contributed some kids because I promised I was never going to have any until I got married and, settled down. It didn't happen. So I never had kids in the promise. So if I was 30 and had the mind I have now, I probably would have really lived a life of sin, without even thinking about it twice. So that question, I'm going to put it to you. Because I remember what I did when I was 30. I was drinking, I was smoking dope, but not a lot. I wasn't one of those people. But in my 20s, I was doing speed, I was doing mescaline, I was getting high, I was hanging out with my friends, like what, early 70s. It was the drug culture. So we got high, we got drunk, we hung out. I had friends who went to orgies. I was too straight laced, I was too religious for that. Thank you, Jesus. I never got that deep into it. But I did get messed up on drugs a little bit. And I thank God that things changed. So I'm going to ask you the same question. Being the age you are now, my high school friends, when we had that reunion, Claudia and Sandra and Ethelene and all of us, Sandra and or Lyman, I didn't see everybody that was there. But if you were 30 now, with the breaks that kids are having now on the internet. They're just doing whatever they want to. Some kids are drinking bleach, which is the sickest thing I've ever seen. I've seen people on the internet beat people up and do really tragic things. And I've seen people killed live on, oh my God, I've seen all of that. But knowing who you are now with the knowledge you have now, if you were age 30, so we're talking about going back 39 years ago, who would you be? What would you do? How would you handle the world with the experience you've had of what? Childbearing. You could even have the people you have now. But who would you be? What would you be if you had the opportunity? Because we always tell our kids, I used to have to do this, and if I had the opportunities that you all had, if I had had this, if I had, let's say we got these opportunities now. Let's say you were going to be a singer, and let's say you're not 60 or 70 years old. Let's not say that. Let's say you're back at 30 with every modern advantage and opportunity. Who would you be? What would you do? What would you do differently? What would you do the same? How would you live? How would you treat your people? How would you treat values? How would you treat your color? How would you treat your skin? How would you treat your beauty or what you figure lack of beauty? Would you be a Christian or would you serve God or wouldn't you? Would you how would you be? Uh I tell you that boy is profound. I tell you, if I had a son, I guess he'd been the one I want to have because he's a good dad and he ought to be a good dad. But he is somebody who challenges me every day. Miss V, like I technology, so I said I'm gonna start my own channel without asking him to set me up. So I set this channel up completely on my own, but it has to be him that helps me upload, because I get totally confused. But I thank God for him, and I thank God for millennials. I thank God for Brandon. I thank God for Faith. I thank God for Gwen Sublet. I can't wait for her to tell her story about living in a Winnebago. I mean, that was like what, 30, 40 some years ago. I want to know. I want to know the truth about people. I want people to share their lives with us, not just me, but us. You met Bobby, you met and Andrea. You're meeting people. I'm hoping to eventually even have some celebs on who are talking about their lives and talking about what they did in their lives. I just want you to. I mean, the local celebrities are just fine with me. People that have been doing stuff in the community forever. I count them as celebrities. I count them as heroes. There are people that have been driving around feeding the poor for years and never got credit for it. There are people who just go around cooking meals and feeding people. They never got an award for it. I had a hat on that my friend Cynthia Pearson does. Let me see if I got it. I'm not gonna mess up my wig because I got my wig on, but I gotta show this hat. Um, she gave me this hat because my head was cold and I shaved my head. And Cynthia made this hat. You'll see me I'm gonna insert it in a shot or something like that. And the other night I was out Thanksgiving, I had that hat on because it was cold. It's made of wool and stuff. And I was sitting in my nephew's house with the hat on, And this guy from Cuba looked over at my hat and said, "Oh, that's a very intriguing hat." He said, "Where'd you get it?" And I said, "A friend of mine made it. She makes it for people who have had tragedies in their lives and who have lost people." And he said, "That's interesting." And he said, "What's the name of it?" I said, "She calls it badass hats." So one day I'm going to ask Cynthia, maybe we could do a chorus to be in the same room, kind of split vision. Maybe I'll have Cynthia just lay out the hats that she's had. And let me tell you some of the stuff that she's done that makes her my hero. She did this long before whatever age she is now. I think when her mother passed, she wanted to do something to create a memorial for her mother. And I can't even remember all of it right. She's going to have to come on and tell you herself. But she started doing these hats, crocheting these hats. And I crocheted. I ain't never crocheted nothing for nobody. But she did these really amazing hats. But I tell you the truth, she made me this hat. It's so big it swallows my head. I think she measures them over her head, which has like a pound of dreadlocks on either side of her head. So her hats fit snugly, but mine kept falling over my head. But I keep it on because it's warm and people like the hat and I like it. Well, she started something. She started doing something for other people, people who were in mourning, people who were grieving, people who lost somebody. And she would give all these numerous hats away and she would give them a party. And I'd like her to show some of the pictures, actually send me some so I can share some of them with you. But I want to ask you, who would you be now? All my baby boomers, all my people who are from the silent generation, all my depression babies. You are not excused from walking away from life and just waiting for somebody to come and serve you. We're not babies. I think we have gotten to the point as senior citizens. Sometimes we expect to be taken care of, and that's kind of why we were upset with CJE. We felt like children who had been taken care of, who have been spoiled, who have been deluded, and then suddenly cast aside. And we fought against that. But I also want to say that people who are in the a silent generation, they have sat down and expected to be taken care of. And surprise, this generation of millennials, they don't do that, but they do create things. And I think if we want the world to change, whether we're baby boomers, silent generation, depression babies, or whatever, if you want the world to change, you better get up off your duckus and change it yourself. And get with some millennials, with some people who know some technology, who can help you have help you become a revolutionary again. We were the first generation Black who went on college campuses. We got our butts kicked. We got overwhelmed by it. We didn't have mentors to tell us how to be. Some of us worked for the Black Panther Party breakfast program. Some people got out there and did the work. Some people, you know what? Life is not over. We are responsible to create or complete the assignment that we were put on this earth to do. Let me tell you something. Whether you are a child of rape, whether you are a child of abuse, whether you are an unwanted child that was half aborted, whether you were somebody that has no reason to rejoice in being alive, whether you've been abused, beat up, or whatever, you didn't get here to this planet. God didn't let you on this planet. He didn't plant that seed, whether that was a corrupt seed or not. He didn't plant that in that womb. That seed that got planted in you. What, 80,000 of them went a million ways, and you, that one little tiny seed had the potential of life, of becoming a person. So I don't care what they said. I didn't want you. You was an accident. I was drunk. I got raped. Those are sad things. I know this woman, her child, she never could gravitate toward this child, never could. The child was a child of rape. That child loved her no matter what she did to tell this kid, I don't want you. That kid loved her. And that child, at one point, that was a child that came and get her. I met that mother. I met that mother. Her daughter, she never treated her daughter with anything. As a matter of fact, when she was a little girl, she bit back her thumbs and broke her thumbs as a child. Ah, ooh, there's some children who are told they don't matter. But you matter to God, or He wouldn't have let you come here. And you say, why did you let bad things happen to me? Why did you let it? Let me tell you something I've learned. The pain that I've lived through can't even match some of the pain that some of you have had. I haven't lived through some of the anguish that some of you had. I can't even know the anguish or the pain of constantly being told you don't matter, how black you are, how ugly you are, how big your nose is, how oh what a waste you are. I don't know how far it is, but I know you're here on assignment. I know God made sure you got here, no matter whether they were gonna abort you or tried to or not. God made sure you were here. He got sure you were here so you would hear the message of your purpose. If you're 30, and you've lived all this life of pain, all this modern technology, all these things, stop being scared. You already lived past the time you thought you would. You're already old. Live, get over it. Get over your pain. Get over it. Get to your mission. Get to your mission. Get over your pain and find out how you can relieve somebody else's. Stop living in the past. Live now. Live now. So I ask you, and I ask you, if you were 30 again, if you have all the knowledge you have and all the opportunities, who would you be? What would you do? How would you change the world? You have the opportunity to change the world. I told you, I'm going to do these posts for 180 days. I'm going to post every day. Sometimes I'm going to post words. Sometimes I'm going to pursue thoughts. And sometimes I tell you, I got to live out my purpose. I thought I missed it. I thought it was over. I really did. And God sent this young man into my life to bless me. And I hope I'm a blessing to him, because everybody has a purpose. Everybody does. Don't miss it. Don't miss your purpose. Because I tell you, my purpose came to get me. Affordable housing came to get me, and that mission of community, that commission of purpose was reborn in me. I gave it up. I gave up trying to help people. I gave up. But you know what? I can't live without generosity. I can't live it. I ask you, as this Christmas comes, can you afford yet to buy another whole? I ain't against Walmart. I just bought some stuff from Walmart. I got to return. I just bought some Black Thursday. Um, I'm not saying don't buy things, but what are you buying them for? What do you need them for? I mean, your kids, how many gifts do they get all year long? They got a long list, and you've been buying them stuff. And a lot of my friends say, I want my kids to have what I never had. I want them to live good. But you know what? Half of the time, those kids are bored. That you buy them all these games, you buy them all these movies, and they're done with them, and they're already out of date. And you buy them all these things, and you put yourself in debt. And what have you got? I challenge you this Christmas, this holiday season. Excuse me. You may be Jewish. You may be doing I don't know what holiday. You may be Muslim, you may be all of these people, all of these different religions, all of these people who don't believe in religion, but you are a human being. What will you do with the mission that you have been given? I had a friend, I loved him very much, but he was so confused. He was so talented. He taped up the windows in his car and turned on the engine and marched into eternity with such potential. What a great actor, what a great person. But he never found his person. He never found his purpose. He never hung around. So some of you who may be so depressed, you're on medication and you're thinking about what's the purpose of my life or whatever. It's one. Stick in here, stay. Your purpose will come to get you. Your mission will come to get you. God will send the voice. He'll send someone to you. Please don't give up on the life that you've been gifted with. Help other people live. Help other people who are homeless. Help other people who don't have food. Go out and buy some, get a hat, get some gloves. Go to the dollar store and do something instead of buying another game, another Xbox, another whatever, instead of another big TV. Wouldn't it be great to sit down for this holiday and have this joy in your heart that you made a difference in somebody's life? That you fed them, that you vowed not to just feed them for one day, but you know they've been struggling, so you will feed them from now on. And just bless people, just bless people. You don't have to get anything back. Look at you, what you got now. You got enough to just buy stuff, just buy. I have a friend, she just went and bought a brand new car, brand new Toyota. The man said, you can put payment. She said, no, I'll pay for it cash, okay? So she paid what, $55,000 in cash for a car. Okay, so we have so much in this country. People are walking on the border, hoping to get arrested to come to this country for opportunities. I have a friend who said the man that she loves, he came from Africa. He said, I came to America with a suitcase. And now he has a whole life in Africa. He's blessing his whole village. So, what could you do right now at your age, pretending that you're 30? What would you be doing? What will you do now to change the world? 69 don't matter, 70 don't matter. There's a man that just graduated from high school at 98. He learned how to read and write. Come on, people, you ain't got no excuse. We ain't got no excuse for laying down and just waiting for somebody to take care of us, hoping our kids will come and take care of us. Take care of yourself. Now, if you got dementia, you can't help yourself. You got problems like that, you can't help yourself. But come on, get up. The success of failure is getting up. Does that make sense? I mean, you can fail. It's okay. Lots of people do. Ford made how many cars before he got to the Model T? There was A to T. Okay, so how many times? I've failed so many times, people. I've failed so many times. This channel is not an opportunity to discuss whether whether you subscribe, you don't subscribe. I hope you do. If you don't, I will still be doing them because I pledged 180 days. So whoever you are, if you like it, I'll appreciate it. If you don't, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to listen. God bless you. Have a happy holiday. Look, be safe out there. This is robin season. They'll be putting their hands in your bag, so you better watch about your cart. Watch your children. Don't park on the side of a van. And somebody starts saying, help me to put my package in the car and in the van, don't do it. A young lady that I know, something happened to her. She tried to help this person, and then he said, oh, I'll give you a ride. All she wanted to do was talk Jesus, but he had other plans, and she was hurt. So I'm telling you, please listen. I don't want to create fear in your heart, but I want to create joy. I want to create the future thought of your life, that God is good. Live your purpose. I love you. Have a happy holiday. I'll be posting more of these every day. I don't know what I'll be saying, but I'll just tell you about it. Sometimes I'll be complaining, and sometimes I'll be complaining good and happy about something. But I just want to thank you for your time. Love you.